welcome to Pro Talk with the Mighty Oba. We are here today with a very special guest, one of the greatest boxers of all time. One of my all-time favorites is here with us today, Evander Holyfield, Olympic champion and also four-time heavyweight champion of the world, one of the greatest fighters of all time. It is a great pleasure to have him with us here on Pro Talk. Champ, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Glad to have you on with us here today. And I tell you, it's winter outside here in Western New York. I hope where you are, it's a lot better than we're doing here.
Yes, it is. 82.
Well, you deserve it, champ. You've had a great career. And I tell you, one of my all-time favorites. I want to start my questions with you with your amateur career. How did you begin to develop your amateur career in leading to an Olympic bid in 1984?
Well, it was, I won 1980. I was just became the Georgia, 175 in 1980, and then all of a sudden, I continued to, I would win a tournament. Then then the next year I keep moving. I moved very slow at that point in time, but eventually in '84 '83 I beat Ricky Womack, which was amateur world champion, and Womack beat the Cuban and the Russian. So I upset him to make the Olympic team, and everything started from there.
Now, when you made the Olympic team, in your preparation for that, was there a lot of sparring with different fighters?
Yes. I sparred with Henry Tillman, Mike Tyson, Tyrell Biggs, and a lot of good fighters back at that time.
Those were the Los Angeles Olympics. How did you do in your first fight, by your estimation, in the first round of the Olympic Games?
Well, I did real well. I was the first guy that stopped somebody, and on our team. So I got the first knockout. I fought a guy from Africa, and I beat him in the third round. Stopped him in the third.
Mm-hmm. And that was your first fight?
Yeah, that was my first fight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And as you progressed through the Olympics, what was going through your mind as you begin moving into the medal rounds?
Well, of course, it was quite different for me. Being black and every time I fought somewhere, I was a minority, and so that was my first time ever being a place where everybody, cheered for me, which we was in America. so it felt quite different being for the United States and for everybody. Everybody, not just the blacks, the whites, the Puerto Ricans, everybody. It was amazing.
And you finally you moved up in towards the medal rounds, and you fought Kevin Berry, and I thought you fought a textbook fight. And what happened during that fight in which they felt that you weren't the deserving winner? I just didn't understand that at the time. But what happened during that fight that led to you not being the winner?
Well, what happened is that, I was going into, I guess, this is semifinals and stuff like that. And so I had fought 3 times, and I knocked 3 people out. So
right.
He was the 4th person. And I was like, and my whole thing is I was gonna knock him out too. and so of course in the fight, he kept holding. He kept holding. Every time I heard him, he would grab and hold. He was kept holding, and of course, in the third round, I caught him with a left hook, and I knocked him out. But the referee said break, and so everybody knew that the referee made a bad call.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, I kind of felt that because we're in the United States that we were going to protest and they were going to overturn it. But unfortunately, they didn't. They said they never, went against a referee what a referee said, and they chose not to do it, and that kind of left me out there. So I ended up with the bronze medal. And usually when you get disqualified, they would not give you a medal. But because they felt that the referee did make a bad call, so they at least allowed me to get the bronze medal. And so that was the difference.
How disappointed were you then, champ?
Of course, I was very disappointed, but I didn't forget what my mama said. My mama had told me, said, in life, when things don't go your way, do not have no temper tantrum. Don't start getting mad with everybody. And so I actually thought they was going to eventually come back and say, we made a mistake. And they realized they did make a mistake, but they said they never did that. They never been able to change the rules and get a medal. So what happened is that I got the bronze medal.
Mm-hmm.
But because the good attitude that I had, I got the $1 million contract.
That's right.
So the thing is, because Howard Cosell would talk about my attitude, how I handle things, and it's just been hard for anybody to handle something like that when blatantly the guy was wrong. But because I had a good attitude, I got the $1 million contract. I got a contract with ABC, and that's how my career really jumped off as well as it did.
Now, champ, you mentioned Howard Cosell. How important was he to boxing in the I'd say the golden years of boxing when you were in the Olympics leading up to your pro career?
Well, very important. If you're this boxing would be a zero. It's like just as when Howard Cosell got out of the game of boxing, everything went down because Howard Cosell would, when each and every time we fight, Howard Cosell would mention that these guys could be somewhere doing something wrong, but these guys had chose to work hard and get into boxing and allow our country to be the best. And like this, and so we had more people put money into amateur boxing because, Howard Cosell was able to bring people together and, let the people know how important it is. So if you weren't from the United States, then you were of the world.
Right.
So it was the United States against the world. So every time we fought, if we fought Canada, we were fighting against the world. So he had this nice tone to having people. You got to support your own people,
right? And
like that, regardless to are they black, Mexican, or Puerto Rican, you got to get behind them, and that's what made us have great teams back then. You got to understand back then we 76 Olympic team, they was the one that had the most gold medal.
Right.
And in 1984 we broke the record. We had 9 gold medals, 1 silver and 1 bronze.
Mm.
And that record still stand today.
Mm. And it should have been 10. You should have had the gold medal.
But yeah, I should have had it too. But unfortunately, I didn't, and it's all right. And because I didn't get the medal, but I got the heavyweight title 4 times.
Yes, you did.
And the only undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world.
Yes, sir. Now tell me about your first pro fights as you left the amateur ranks. How were your first pro fights, and how did it lead to your first? I guess it was you fought for the cruiserweight title, but how was your first pro fights as you turned pro?
Well, it was different. It was like, because I'm the guy that got the raw deal in the Olympics, and they wanted to call me Raw Deal, and I said no. My name's gonna be Real Deal. They said, no, man, they gave you a Raw Deal. I said, yeah, but that's in the past.
Right.
My name gonna be Real Deal. And so I come in as Real Deal Holyfield, and in my first fight, was how many people first fight is Madison Square Garden. So my first fight, Madison Square Garden. I'm the first television fight. And so even though they had people before me, my mama had told me they remember 2 people. They know who opened the show, who closed it.
That's right.
And so I was the one that opened the show. So they had a tough fight. I had a tough fight, and I fought a guy named Lionel Byron out of Philadelphia. He was the Philadelphia state champ.
Mm-hmm.
He 9-2. And I come in and I beat him. And everybody said, he beat Lionel Byron. And they said, well, yeah, he did, And it starts off on that hand right there. And they put tougher people in there. And I was able to beat them.
Now, who was your managers then, champ?
Well, my main manager, a guy named Ken Sander out of Atlanta, and Shelly Finkel and the Duvas.
Okay. Now you eventually you left them towards part of your career.
Well, yeah. When actually Dan Duva allowed me to get out the contract in 1996 to fight Mike Tyson.
Okay.
And of course, when he let me out, I beat him. so that was it.
Right. Now let me ask you, as your pro career started, you ended up eventually fighting Dwight Muhammad Qawi. Tell me about that fight.
Well, which was one of my toughest fights, because, I fought him in my 12th professional fight. And so, usually they don't usually throw you into a fight in 12 fights against a guy like Dwight Muhammad Qawi. And so, in my 10th fight, Dwight Muhammad Qawi came to the fight. And I was so proud that I had somebody who can really fight came to see me fight. I found out that they were putting the fight together then by telling him that out with the old, in with the new, and he said, "What are y'all talking about?" Then Lou Duva said, "Out with the old, in with the new." And like this, and the guy said, "Well, he ain't said nothing." And then Lou Duva said, "You are gonna beat him, right?" And it kind of bothered me because they didn't tell me, they ain't get me ready for it like this. And I probably would have said no anyway if they would have let me know. But at that time, I was kind of embarrassed, and I said, "Are you gonna beat him?" I said, "Well, yeah, I'm gonna beat him." Like this, but I was mad because they embarrassed me. They put me on the spot, and like this because this guy was 2-time world champion. Here I am in my 10th fight. They talking about fighting him. and kind of made me mad. But when I went back and I knew the contract that I had said that if I don't fight him, then it could change my contract. So I fought him, and I beat him in my 12th professional fight.
That was a brutal fight, wasn't it, champ?
It sure was. I lost 15 pounds in that fight.
Whew.
That fight almost, after that fight, I was really contemplating not ever fighting again. I never had a fight as tough as that. I lost 15 pounds in that fight, and they were talking about I had, in losing that 15 pounds, they said, my kidney, they look like my kidney was, I was burning muscle and all that. So it's a lot of things could have happened in that fight, but I made it, and I gave it one more chance because I didn't know if I really wanted to die because I kind of felt that I was a little too young to be dying at 22 years old.
Now, around that same period of time, champ, if I'm right, Tyson won the championship over Trevor Berbick. Was that around the same period?
Well, yeah, I think about 2 months later, maybe in November, October, yeah.
Was there, after he won that championship, was there starting to be whispers about you possibly fighting him?
Well, yeah, because he won his in '86 as well, as I won mine in '86, and matter of fact, in '87, I was getting ready to fight Dwight Qawi for the second time, and so Tyson came to the fight, and so of course, they looked at Mike Tyson. He was kind of the same built as Dwight Qawi, and they were asking Mike about the fight. He said, "Oh, yeah, Evander a little tough and all this, but we'll see how he do in this fight." And I knocked Dwight. He never been knocked down. I dropped him. I dropped him twice. But I knocked him out right in front of Mike Tyson. And so everybody knew right then and there that Evander, because the White Qawi was kind of, about the same height while we were. And I put him down twice right in front of Mike.
You never were worried about none of Mike's antics, were you?
Well, no, because I had family members like that, with a lot of mouths and all this. But so when a lot of time when people yelling and all this, cause they kind of scared themselves. So I knew that the best thing is not to say nothing and let him just. My mom said, if somebody yelling and all that, and you just be quiet, don't say nothing. He said, this is how to make them scared, cause they think wrong, cause they evil thinking, so they gonna start thinking of bad stuff. They ain't gonna think nothing good. They gonna think bad stuff. They're thinking about what is he probably saying. They don't know what you're saying, so. They got to get you to say something for them to actually know what you're thinking about. So if you don't say nothing, they may think that you're gonna kill them because you ain't saying nothing. So that's the whole big thing. My mom used to always say, be quiet. Now when they talk that noise, just be quiet. Be quiet. They think bad, so they're gonna always think something bad, something worse. They ain't gonna think bad things. Now, people with bad minds, they think bad things. Now, only way they can get you, if they can get you to talk, then they can jump on something. They need something to motivate them. So my mother said, zip it up. And that's what I did. Zipped it right up, too.
Now, Champ, in between Mike winning the title and fighting Buster Douglas, what direction was your career taking at that point?
Well, you got to understand. I went to the fight. I went to Tokyo, and I was there. But I seen Buster Douglas. I seen Buster Douglas fight in Atlanta. They had on Martin Luther King's birthday. They had a match. They had a heavyweight fight in Atlanta. They had all heavyweights, and and I seen Buster Douglas fight, and I seen him knock this guy down with a jab. Oof. Like, yeah, because he's a big guy,
Big guy.
Buster Douglas and Tyson, I'm telling you, Tyson looked like an ant against Buster Douglas. Now, Buster Douglas is like about 6'5" or 6'6", and I'm telling you, he was a big guy. You talking about 239 pounds like this? I'm telling you, just naturally he was that size. I'm telling you, usually he weighed 245, 250 like this, but he got sick. He got sick in Japan, so he was at his lowest weight at 239, and he beat Mike. I'm telling you, and people was just, they thought Mike was just indestructible. They thought there ain't no way, and he beat him. And all of a sudden, and everybody was like amazed. God, he beat him. Because people talk about how many seconds that he gonna get knocked out in, and but I know that what they started saying. I remember the interview. They were asking me. They said, "Evander, you lost all this money. You lost a $15 million payday." And I remember telling them, I didn't lose nothing. That's because I went in to fight for $15 million. I was in to be the heavyweight champion of the world. I ain't lost nothing. I still get a chance to fight for the heavyweight title.
Right.
I wasn't thinking about money. I was thinking about being the heavyweight champion of the world. It wasn't about money. To me, at that time, it wasn't nothing about money. It was just, I want to be a world champion. I wanted to do it, and and I fight him, and I beat him, and I was the heavyweight champion of the world.
How soon was that fight made after the Tyson fight, champ?
It was a year.
About a year.
Yeah.
Now you knocked Buster out pretty quick. You didn't waste no time.
Well, I got him in the third round. He made a mistake. You pay for the mistake that you make.
Right.
And I happened to catch him with a good one, and he didn't get up. And that's the day that I just saying to myself, dream do come true.
Yes, sir. That was a great knockout. Champ, now, when you move up in weight, how does that affect you as far as how do you feel about, the additional poundage? How did that affect you, or did you just grow used to it?
Well, the thing is that, I'm the youngest in my family of 9. And so, by being the youngest, you always, you come up with a lot of excuses, but my mama took all the excuses away. And I said, Mama, they never let me win. And my mama said, they don't supposed to.
Right.
I said, Mama, but I'm the youngest. My mama said, what they got to do with it, boy? You say, ain't nobody going to just sit here because you the youngest and let you beat them. No. So I was always going against odds. My mama always tell me my day going to come. I am going to grow. You are going to be bigger and all this, but somehow when you're a kid, you just seem like it just ain't fair for everybody just to beat you all the time. Like this is, and but by my mother, teaching saying, your day gonna come. If you don't quit, eventually you'll be the best. And so I didn't quit, and I eventually became the best.
Yes,
and
sir.
I became the best in 1990.
Yes, sir. Now, eventually, champ, you signed a fight, which ended up being a trilogy of fights against Riddick Bowe. Tell me about Riddick Bowe as an opponent and Riddick Bowe the person.
Well, Riddick Bowe as the person is, I met Riddick Bowe when he was about 17 years old, and and he was 17, and I was 20. I was 22, and we sparred, and he was my sparring partner. And of course, he was a light heavy, and I was 190, but he was bigger than me then, and he could fight, and we sparred all the time, and of course, I was making money. I paid him to spar with me, and he was a tough guy, and very funny and laughed, and had it's amazing that everybody at that time they wanted to be like Ali. Everybody at that time wanted to be like Ali, so he would give him his Ali impression and all this to him. So when I told him, I said, "Did you not know that I became the heavyweight champion of the world because I was gonna be like Ali?" I said, "I became like Ali. I was the world champion." But just like this. But he had all this line down, everything that Ali said he could do it. After I'm good looking, I'm this, after me, he was a talker.
Right.
But he could fight, though.